Just by way of background, my name is Andrew Judd. I was 9 years on New Plymouth Council, one term as New Plymouth Mayor. In that time, I came to realise my lack of knowledge of New Zealand's past, which bored into my ignorance, and ultimately I am now what I term a recovering racist, because the journey I've observed as Mayor and as a Pākehā New Zealander highlighted to me the challenge that we have, more so now as we see through these treaty principles bill as Pākehā, is we don't understand our past. Mr. Batchelor this morning, I could sense it as a recovering racist. He triggered his dog whistling, just as Mr. Seymour does. It's not the ultimate, the Waitangi Tribunal, but it's worked for 50 years, and it's way better than politicians trying to change the relationship. It's far deeper and far more important through treaty principle bills. Because why? In the 11 years since I was the Mayor of New Plymouth, I've spent hundreds of speeches around New Zealand talking about not only Māori wards, but what it means to be Pākehā. And the questions that I mostly get, and I've done hundreds, comes from where I came from. In the main, we as non-Māori have no idea of our past. Nothing.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks for your submission. Just actually on your submission, you mentioned actually in your oral submission too, you wanted to have the Waitangi Tribunal mandated with greater legislative powers. Could you outline what those would be and how that would operate?
So that's a conversation from the level of your governance to work through in partnership with iwi, hapu and the Māori, of course. But fundamentally, like a court, we have a founding document, Te Tiriti o Waitangi, which I now realise, of course, as a recovering race, I now realise it's our founding document, and that should be precedent over all legislation. So there must be greater weighting given to the tribunal through legislation that either goes against Te Tiriti or against the principles that exist now with the treaty. And the Waitangi Tribunal would be independent. They are appointed and signed through by the Governor-General. So as mentioned earlier, I think we have a non-elected head of state. So it's not like we don't have systems that work through these challenges. And these types of bills that we see coming forward would be stopped.
So it could strike down legislation, is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Otherwise, you see, the narrative pushback to that is, as Pākehā, we fear potentially that we might think Māori might do to us what we do to Māori. And that is, of course, to dominate, control, and have it our way only. When Māori that I talked to and met through all of my time as Mayor, and to this day, have never come with that approach. And it's always been about caring and working together and honouring Te Tiriti.
Oh, kia ora, Andrew. Just quickly, hey, maybe you can just talk to us about your aspirations for Te Tiriti in the future.
Oh, look, I call it reboot February 7th, meaning the day after February 6th. Let's get back around the table and start as it was meant to be, and that is in partnership together. Let's have a system that empowers that. Let's have a system that encourages tangata whenua to truly have their own destiny and control of their cultural ways that work together. Let's show the world that little old New Zealand down here is ahead of the game. We can be more than a two-state solution. We can actually be treaty partners.
Kia ora.
Andrew, thank you, folks. Thank you for your time this morning, Andrew. We appreciate you being with the committee.